Hey, what's going on, you guys? Welcome back to another Screw Toy action figure review. And today we'll be looking at something a little bit more different than what I review. We'll be looking at Disney and Pixar Storytellers toy line. Now, I started seeing these figures when the 100th anniversary of Disney merchandise started hitting stores. I originally did see Pumbaa, Simba, Lilo and Stitch, and Aladdin in shelves when these originally first came out. But today I stumbled across the Pixar line, which is Wall-E and the Up figures over here. And once I saw those, I had to dive into this line. I'm a huge Pixar fan. As you guys know, I have reviewed previous Pixar figures in my channel. The thing about Disney and Pixar toys is that I have a really hard time finding a good line. If it is a good line, it kind of just dies out or fizzles out. We've seen plenty of Pixar lines before. Like I said previously, I did review the Pixar Spotlight figures, and while they were amazing figures and I loved them so much, the line just kind of died out. I think the last figure they released was the either one of the Lightyear figures or the Etna from the Incredibles, and that was the last figures we saw from that line, and it kind of just fizzled out. We haven't heard much from it anymore. I did get rid of that whole collection I had on those figures. It just, once it died out, I didn't see it going anywhere, and I didn't want an incomplete shelf, so I got rid of those. The thing about these is that you get Pixar figures and you also get Disney figures, and I'm a huge fan of both. More Pixar than Disney, but I do love a lot of Disney characters like Lilo and Stitch and The Lion King. These two movies are two of my biggest movies that I grew up watching. So very excited to look at this line. Now, from first glance, these figures don't look super hyper articulated, but they look like they have a pretty decent amount of articulation, man. And the scale is perfect. They're not, 6-inch figures, but I really like the scale. They're not going to take up too much real estate on my shelves or in my details, wherever I decide to put these. I feel like they're a perfect height. And yeah, so far they look good. I didn't get the whole set that's been out now. I didn't get Aladdin. I'm not a fan of that movie. I never really grew up watching it. Yeah, just not a fan of that, so I kind of skipped it. But enough of me rambling on, man. Let's get a quick look at the packaging on these. Now, Timon and Pumbaa, you get the sunset in the background of Africa right there, and it does look nice. You get the 3 figures over here, and I guess you can kind of consider this plastic-free packaging in a way, but not really, because Timon is kind of packaged in this little plastic right there, but the rest is an open box. You can touch the figures. They are held by rubber bands, which unfortunately, you will see some of these figures missing. I already did see some of those figures missing in stores. On the bottom over here, you get some images of some characters from the movie. You get Simba, Timon, and Pumbaa. You get the monkey, I can't remember his name, and one of the hyenas, which I don't know why they would add those if they're not included in this packaging. It should have just been Timon, Pumbaa, and Simba. You get the name of the line right here, Storytellers, and you get the Disney 100th anniversary logo right there. You get Mattel, the barcode. On the side, you get the name of the movie that these figures are from. On the back, you get a shot of all the products and some of the figures from the line, which is Lilo and Stitch, which we have right there, and then the Aladdin figures, which again, I'm not gonna pick those up. But yeah, man, I wish it would have came with maybe a little read up on the movie of Lion King right there. That would have been nice. On the other side, you get the Lion King again, the logo for the movie. On the bottom, a whole bunch of bullshit, but you do get the barcode right there. If you want to scan that, you can do so. And then the Lilo and Stitch is similar. You get the Hawaiian background with the house of Lilo right there, the name of the line, the name, some pictures of the figures or the characters right there, the barcode, Mattel, the logo of the movie, the renders of the figures, the rest of the figures in this wave. I guess you would call it a wave of figures, or a wave of wave of figures. You get the Lion King and Aladdin. On this side, you get Lilo and Stitch. On the bottom, a whole bunch of other bullshit. The barcode's right there if you want it. And then for the Wall-E, similar. You get some of that of the spaceship insides in the background. You get the name of the line, the name of the movie, barcode Mattel, the name of the movie right there. The figures and some random shit right there. I wish again I had a read up on the movie. And then the rest of the figures of this wave. And I have not seen these two. I have not seen the Monsters Inc. or the Coco. If I see the Coco, man, I'm picking those up right away. That's like on top of my list. So I need to find these figures, which it comes with a good variety of figures right there. So I need to find that. And then we get the up one right here, which looks good, man. You get Russell, you get Carl, and Dog. So nice little set of figures here. I wish we would have gotten the Kevin. On the back, you get the renders of the figures, and then the rest of the figures of this wave. So nothing too crazy with this packaging. It's pretty standard. But yeah, let's crack these bad boys open and get a closer look. Now, quick disclaimer, my background is obviously different. It's not the all black background with the all black table. I did have to wash it. My sheet was pretty dirty. I hadn't washed it in a while, so got a little dusty, took it down. Time for a wash. But I do like the way this looks. The raindrops in the back and the black table kind of gives it a nice contrast. Might keep it like this, might go back to the all black background. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Should I keep it like this, or should I go back to the all black background? And here we have the first set, and it's a pretty dope set, man. I'm not gonna lie. For $15, you're getting a decent amount of stuff here. You get a decent amount of figures, a decent amount of articulation, and yeah, I mean, it's a pretty dope set. Out of the three, Pumbaa shines like much brighter than these two right here. He is the highlight of the pack. He's also the biggest, so that makes sense. They would make him the most articulated and the better figure of the three. And now Simba, I wish he was a little bit better, but he's still pretty decent for what he is. Pumbaa just overall is one of my favorite from the 4 packs that I've got from this line. He's just a dope figure, and we'll get a closer look at him in a second. First, I want to get a look at Timon, because there's not much going on with him, man. He is a static figure, pretty much a little statue. Nothing too crazy. The paint application is done pretty well. They use that printing technology on the eyes, so that came out pretty clean, crisp. You get the little cockiness in his face, the little vanilla pose that he's in. It's kind of like, you know, little sassy, you know, Timon things. You get the stripes in the back painted very well as well. I'll get it to focus for a second. There we go. So overall, pretty decent little figurine. You get the hair painted on top. Yeah, he's not bad, man, for what he is. It's pretty dope. He has a little bit of articulation. He has a head swivel, so you get his head swivel side to side, and that's about it. No other articulation on this figure. So the head swivels, and that's about it. It's a pretty nice little figure. I like it. And then Simba, he's a dope figure. A lot more articulation on this little guy than I thought. His head is on a little dumbbell joint, or on a ball joint, so you can look down a decent amount. You can look up a decent amount, and he has side to side. And then his legs are just hinged, so they hinge back and forth. Now, I wish they were on ball joints, so you can get some outwards, some inwards. It just would have benefited better if they were ball jointed instead of these hinges. But still, a pretty solid figure overall. He has a swivel at the tail. And then getting a look at the paint applications, it's done very well. Again, that is that face printing technology right there. The ears, the eyes, the eyelashes, all that deco is nicely applied, and it is because it's using that printing technology. So it looks pretty dope, man. It's all decoed on there pretty well. The face expression is nice, you know, a little happy Simba. It would have been nice to get a bigger, full-grown Simba. I'm pretty sure we'll see it later on in the line if this line continues. The belly is just painted white in that whitish beige color, so nothing too bad. The sculpt is nice. You get some of that fur sculpted on the back. It would have been nice to have swivels at the feet, but unfortunately we don't get that. So yeah, man, nice little figure as well. I like it quite a bit. Probably one of the best Simba figures out there. I don't think I've ever seen a Simba figure until this one, and this one's pretty dope. And then Pumbaa looks pretty dope, man. Yeah, he's the highlight of the pack, highlight of the whole figure sets. He looks dope, man. The paint application is done nice. You get that bone color on the tufts, or the horns, whatever you want to call it. The teeth are nicely painted in there. Look at that. The roof of the mouth is nicely sculpted. The tongue is nicely painted. Um, yeah, it's really nice. The nose, the snout, it's done well as well. And then you get the hinge, man. That's what I like about this figure. You get a hinged mouth. It's probably my favorite thing about this. They could have gone static face expression like this, or wide open, which would have gave you limited options, but they decided to add that hinge. So I really do appreciate that. He has a head swivel, so that it's nice. It's similar to Simba's head, hinge up and down, rotate a full 360 if you like. I like the little hair right here, the little mohawk. The ears are not articulated, so that's a little bit unfortunate. I wish they could have rotated, at least they could have rotated, but unfortunately that is not the case. The rest of the body is in that reddish, brownish color. You get the darker brown at the tail, and then the belly is a dark brown. The legs are set up kind of weird. They hinge forward, and just actually forward, it kind of runs into the belly right there. And then they have a little hinge right here that hinges outward, so you can have his legs go outward. Again, I think this would have benefited better with a ball joint. You could have gotten so much more range of motion, and it wouldn't have gave you that awkward cut. So yeah, not the biggest deal breaker. I think it would have just been a added bonus to have a ball joint instead of a old outdated hinge right there. But you do get some nice range of motion right there, so not too bad. Pumbaa, one of my favorites for sure. Next up, we'll get a look at my favorite characters from my favorite Disney movie, Lilo and Stitch. Now, one thing about this pack that I do wish was different: we get a Stitch, we get a Lilo, and we get another Stitch. Now, obviously, this is 626. This is Stitch. This isn't his prisoner outfit or his alien outfit with his little ray gun. I wish we would have got a different character. Cleekly or Jamba would have been nice. Even Nani would have been a nice addition to this set. Did we need two Stitches? No. Do I like that they included two different versions of Stitches? Yeah, it's not bad, but I would have preferred a different character and gotten this figure maybe down the line, repacked, or packed with different characters as well, like Cleekly, Agent Bubbles, or somebody. You know what I mean? We didn't need two Stitches in the same pack. But getting a close look at Stitch, he probably is my one of my favorite in this wave of figures. Nothing too crazy, man. Pretty simple. The paint applications are done nicely. No sloppiness. Articulation is decent. You get a nice little happy Stitch. No demonic destroying the city, ruining Lilo's life Stitch. But yeah, he's cute, man. Look at him. Look how adorable. Now, of course, he's not the most articulated or best Stitch figure out there. The Rebel Tech still holds that spot, and I think Super 7 is dropping a Stitch figure in the near future. Now, that could be hit or miss, because we know Super 7 is iffy about figures. So this one is not a bad figure. Again, paint applications are done nicely. You don't get paint everywhere. Some paint on the nails and the inner paw would have been nice. The back has that blue. You get the copyright stuff right there. I like that they put it on the back and not on the front of the figure. But yeah, articulation wise, he has a swivel, and he can look up, he can look down, because it is on a ball joint, so that is nice. Get some decent articulation out of that. His arms are on a simple hinge and ball joint, so he can hinge in and out, up and down, rotate a full 360. No articulation on the wrist. I would have loved to have wrist articulation, but unfortunately that's not the case. And then the hips are on ball joints and a hinge, so you can hinge. That hinge doesn't do much actually, so you get a little bit of movement, but not the greatest. So fortunately, you can't get him on all fours, like him crawling around. I mean, maybe if you really try, you could. mean, I guess you kind of can, but it just looks a little awkward. You can make it work. Yeah, you can definitely make it work. But yeah, you get swivel at the ears. It's just swivel forward and back, or full 360. Again, a ball joint would have been fitted out of that, so you can move them outward. I mean, you can kind of do it, but you're really pulling on that peg right there, and you're gonna break it. But yeah, pretty decent figure. I like Stitch. Moving him out the way and bringing in Lilo. Lilo's probably I don't want to say my least favorite out of this 3-pack. She's a pretty decent figure. The biggest complaint about this is the dress that hinders all the articulation and the expression they gave her. She looks a little off, man. I don't know what it is. They gave her the weirdest expression ever with her mouth open, and it just looks funny. Just a simple closed mouth would have benefited this figure. But yeah, just get a closer look at the paint deco. Looks good. The eyes are nicely done. Eyebrows are nicely done. Inside of the mouth is nicely done. No sloppiness. The dress is done well as well. You get the paint on the dress. You get the leaves painted. Looks nice. And then the blue sandals. You get to see the little toes. And a little bit of sloppiness right there in the toes from the sandal. Get some blue on the feet. But still pretty decent figure. You get some slits right here to help with the articulation. So that is nice. Underneath, you get the simple ball joint hinges on the hips. So she can kick not much forward. Kind of just springs back. Not much back. And you get some outward. So you can have her kick to the side. The arms are on ball joints. So she can move her arms a little bit. Nothing too crazy. They are on ball joints and hinges. So you can get a decent amount of range out of that. And then her head moves side to side and up and down, similar to Stitch. So not a bad figure, just not the best of the line. And then we get 626, which is a pretty dope figure, similar to the other Stitch, except this time he has his mouth wide open, and he looks like he's ready to mess some things up. So get it to focus for a second. Right there. The paint applications are nicely done. He comes with a little ray gun, the only accessory that comes in this pack, and it does have a porthole, but nothing to plug in. So it's a little bit unfortunate. Some paint on that gun would have went a long way, but unfortunately, it's just a flat yellow plastic. There goes the gun. The rest of the figure is nicely done. You get some paint right here on the logo. You get the little tendril spikes on the back of his spine. Some blue paint on the back of his head. The black belt is painted nice as well. And then the rest of it's pretty simple. You get the blue on the nose, the black on the eyes, the pink in the ears. And he only comes with one gripping hand, so that's a little bit unfortunate. Some swappability options would have been nice for the hands, so you can grip it on whatever hand you want to put it, but you can only hold it on his right upper hand. So a little bit unfortunate on that. His head, similar to the first Stitch, up and down on a ball joint. Get some side to side and some head pivoting. Ears swivel up and down. The antennas are in a fixed position, so those won't articulate. The arms are on hinges and ball joints, so you get some forward and back and rotate it for 360 if you would like. Legs, ball joints, and hips, similar to the other Stitch. So the hinges seem to work a lot better on this one, as you could see. So maybe I just need to heat that one up to loosen up those ball joints. But yeah, man, pretty dope set. Probably one of my favorites out of the four. Probably top two, I would say. Yeah, either two. I don't know. It's a pretty decent set, man. But yeah, let's get a look at the other figures. Here we have my favorite set of the four sets is the Wally. We get Wally, Eva, and the little robot. I can't remember his name. I'm pretty sure it says it on the package. Let me find it real quick. No, it does not say the name of the characters here, actually. That's crazy. So it's Wally. Yeah, it doesn't say. Yeah, nowhere on the package is saying the name of the characters, which is a little bit unfortunate. So for those people that never seen the movie, they'll be clueless on who's who. Anyways, here's Eva and Wally and the little robot cop that kind of chases them throughout the oh, there's his name, Mo. Is that his name, Mo? They kind of chases them throughout the movie. They both come in these little flight stands that are not removable. I've tried to remove it, but that is fixed. And yep, that is fixed. But let's get a look at Wally himself. Pretty dope figure, man. I still do have the Pixar Spotlight series Wally. That's the only figure I kept from that line. And well, this one's nice. And if you don't have any other Wally figure, you would probably think this is a pretty nice figure. And it is for the price point, and what you're getting is pretty solid. It's nicely sculpted. You get a lot of details. Look at those gears and the wheels. You get some decent articulation out of this figure. Just a really solid figure. The paint apps are nicely done. But when you compare it to the Pixar series Wally, it's no comparison, man. I mean, there's just no comparison. This figure just blows this figure out the water. Paint is way superior. Yeah, this is all printed paint with that printing technology. So yeah, this figure is just way better than this one. But I mean, you're comparing a $50 figure to a $15 figure in a 3-pack. So while you're not going to get the same amount of articulation and paint details and just overall figure, it's still pretty dope. As you can see, this one has actual glass inside of the eyes to make it look realistic, and this is just plain painted plastic. This one has an open compartment right here that you can open. This one is just solid piece of plastic that's not open. The arms move on the track. This one just has a painted on track, so these arms are fixed in that position. The legs are movable and detachable. These are not. These are fixed position. They both do have wheels at the bottom of the tracks. So yeah, man, again, you can't compare the two. This one has a little latch that you can attach as a little lunch kit to. This one doesn't. But focusing on the figure and not comparing it to a $50 figure, it's pretty cute, man. I mean, you get a decent amount of, again, paint and articulation on this, and some sculpted details. The tracks are really nicely done. The gears, again, are nicely done. The articulation is nice. Let's get a quick look at that. The eyes on the neck are on a little ball joint, so you get a little bit of shifting up and down and rotating. The neck is on another ball joint, so you get a swivel at the neck, so you can get some nice movement out of both of those. Their hands are on ball joints, or the arms are on ball joints, so they rotate a full 360 and move in and out, and they got a hinge right there, so some nice movement. And the hands have a swivel, so you can swivel out of those hands. And then the rest are everything goes pretty much static. You get some wheels at the bottom and have them roll, so that is nice. But yeah, Wally's pretty dope. Now let's get a quick look at Mo. Mo is nicely done. He's small, he's cute. His eyes are nicely painted on there. You get some red at the top of the little siren right there. And then he has his little lint roller cleaner where he kind of cleans everything. Now, is he a police or is he a cleaner? Or is he both? I've always been confused by that. But here you get some gray paint right there. A little blue backpack on the back. And then some black for the neck. Not much movement out of this guy. He can look up a little bit. He can look down. You get some head pivoting. And then he has a hinge at the arms to move up and down. So that is nice. And then a ball joint at the base of this little clear stand. And he stands fairly well. I mean, look at that. It's pretty cute. So that is nicely done. Moving Mo out the way and bringing in Eva. I like this figure, man. She's pretty dope. Not much to her. You get some sculpted lines there, on the other side, and then the clear stand, and then the sculpted face right there. Some black paint and some blue paint, and that's about it. The arms do move out though, which is pretty dope, man. They kind of shift out like that. You got a put your nail underneath there. And sorry if my nails look dirty, I was doing garden work. Need to clean them a little bit better. But yeah, they shift out, and you get some articulation, man. That is nice. Get some up and down, and some shifting a little bit. But yeah, nothing too crazy. The head moves side to side, looks up, looks straightforward, doesn't really look down. But yeah, kind of hard to give this character some articulation when she's awkward shaped, and doesn't really have too many points where you can add articulation. But yeah, man, she's pretty dope. You can move side to side on the base. It's nice to have a little evil figure, man, to go with your Wally. And if I bring in the Pixar Spotlight series, these actually match up pretty well. I think I'm gonna have them displayed together. So I think that's gonna be my little set right there. Yeah, man, I love this evil figure. Probably my favorite set out of the 4 sets that I picked up. And now for the set that probably surprised me the most. It's the Upset. Yeah, man, this set is pretty dope. Probably the set that has the figure with the most articulation. We'll get a quick look at him in a second. But getting a quick look at Dog. Pretty standard articulation and paint apps. Nothing too crazy. A wash on the rest of the fur would have went a long way. But you do get some paint. You get the nose painted in there in brown. The pink tongue. The eyes are nicely done. Again, it's that face printed technology that kind of gets that pretty accurate and spot on. No sloppiness, no misplacement or anything. So you get those eyes perfectly punched in there. Get the collar, but it's just done in a brown. And in some parts it's not all the way painted, as you can see some of that yellow seeping through right there, because it is a yellow plastic painted brown. But yeah, some paint would have went a long way, like some red buttons and some black buttons and the buckles painted in and stuff. Some of the smaller details painted in would have been nice. You get some of that brown kind of splattered on there, so a little bit of sloppiness right there. And then you get the brown highlights on the back of his fur. So nothing too crazy paint wise. Pretty simple figure. The sculpt is nice. Articulation wise, you just get a swivel at the head. A ball joint would have been nice, but nope, you just get a swivel. So swivel side to side, can do a full 360 like the Exorcist if you would like. The tail is on a swivel as well, so ball joint would have been perfect right there. Don't know why they didn't do that. You would have gotten some up and down, but no, all you get is a swivel. So that's a little bit unfortunate. And then the legs are just forward and back, so a swivel hinge. So nothing too crazy there. The back legs go a lot further back, but then you get that big gap right there, which is an eyesore. So Dog, probably one of my least favorite of the bunch. Not my least favorite because, you know, he's still a pretty decent figure. I mean, compare it to Timon, which is a little statue. Yeah, this one is better. So not my least favorite, but definitely not my most favorite. So moving him out the way and bringing in Russell. Russell's pretty dope, man. I like him quite a bit. You get all the badges sculpted on there. Oop, there goes his head. Surprise, it is removable. You get the sash with all the badges on there, and they're all sculpted and painted, and they're nicely done, man. I mean, the paint applications on there, it's done perfect. I mean, they're punched in there perfect. And again, it is that printing technology that gets that in there perfect. And you can see the one badge that he's missing. So that is just nice little attention to detail like that. They could have added that badge from the end of the movie, but they didn't. The hair is nicely done, and it does have a little notch right there for the had to tap in, so that's nice. You get the rosy cheeks. The mouth is nicely painted. Again, that technology, that printing technology gets it in there perfect, as well as the eyes and the eyebrows. So no sloppiness there. That is nice. And then the rest of the body is nicely done. You get the brown shorts, the white socks, the brown shoes. Yeah, man, nice little figure. The hat is removable. You can see some details in it. It's got that sculpted stitching, and then the little strap in the back. And again, it does just kind of fit into his head right there, or it's formed to fit his head, but it doesn't stay there all that well. You kind of have to just balance it on there, kind of push it down. It'll stay, but yeah, if you move it around too much, it'll pop off. Now I'm going to look at Russell's articulation. His head is on a ball joint, so you can move it side to side. It doesn't really look up, and it doesn't really look down, so you're not going to get nothing else than just swivel. So maybe it's not on a ball joint. If I can I can't really tell. I think it's maybe just on a swivel. So yeah, it's just on a swivel. His arms are on a hinge and ball joint, so you get some rotating and some hinging outward. The little scarf is kind of get it in the way from doing a full 360. So if you kind of work around it, you'll be able to do it. But yeah, some hinging up and down and a full rotation. Same thing with this side, but then the sash completely hinders it from moving it all the way up. So it's a little bit unfortunate that that sash kind of gets in the way. Maybe they should have done it in a softer plastic, but yeah, that's pretty hard. The legs are similar. They have hinges and ball joints, so you can kick to the side a great amount. You can kick forward, back, not much, and yeah, nice little articulation out of the legs. So Russell's not a bad figure, man. He's a pretty dope figure. I like him quite a bit. Now, the one that has the most articulation out of the whole sets is Grandpa Carl over here. And yeah, man, he surprised me quite a bit. He's a pretty dope figure. I like him. One thing, if I was to grab about anything, would be the expression. I wish he had a more grumpier, mean expression, because that's what he looked like most of the movie. He was grumpy, in a bad mood. He didn't get into a better mood towards the end of the movie, but yeah, it would have been nice to have that angrier, stern face to go with Carl. And yeah, man, the eyes are nicely punched in there again. That face printing technology. The sculpted wrinkles are nicely done. The white hair looks nice. You get even his little, I'm sorry for my ignorance, but the his earpiece to help him hear. His hearing aid. I don't know why that was slipping my mind. His hearing aid's in there as well. It would have been nice to see it painted because it is just a flesh tone like his ear. So yeah, it just kind of gets lost in there. The other ear doesn't have a hearing aid. You get his little suit. His bow tie is nicely done, but you get some white paint splatter on there, and I can't seem to pick it off. So, or maybe that's black paint, and I'm kind of chipping it away. So, I need to go back in there and paint that. The suit is nicely done. The jacket is nicely sculpted. You get all this nice sculpted detail. You can actually see his wedding band sculpted onto his finger. Would have been nice if they would have painted that in gold, but unfortunately they didn't. And then the rest of it is just a brown beige color from the pants to the shoes. And then his little walker is nicely done. You get the little tennis balls at the bottom. They look nice. And this is removable. And I think he can only hold it in one of his hands. Yeah, he can only hold it on his left hand. So I wish he would have been able to hold it on both hands, but that's a little bit unfortunate. His glasses are removable. They peg into the back over here. As you can see. They are removable, so you can take them off and on if you would like, but I don't know why you would take them off. Articulation wise, he does have a hinge at his arm that hinges up and down and rotates a full 360. His elbow has a hinge, which is surprising. He's the only figure from this whole set that has a hinge at his elbow, and it hinges up and down and rotates a full 360 as well. His head swivels side to side, and it looks up the tiniest bit up and the tiniest bit down. So that's the only articulation you're going to get out of that head. The legs are on hinges, so he hinges forward, back, and to the side. So decent amount of articulation out of Carl. And he's probably one of my favorite figures of this wave, which I've been saying about that from every figure. But yeah, pretty solid figure. Now that we've gotten a look at all the figures from every single set, let's start doing some size comparisons. And here we have all the figures from these sets all together. And now that I have them all together, I do realize that they don't all actually scale within each other. Like Lilo, why is she so big compared to Carl and Russell? As you can see, she shouldn't be the same height as Carl. Maybe she should be the same height as Russell. As well as Stitch, he should be a lot smaller than most of these figures here. Wally and Eva are pretty humongous compared to these. Wally should be the size of what this little robot is compared to everybody else. But again, it's kind of hard to scale all within this line because these figures are already small. So imagine if Wally and Eva were smaller, they would be tiny. They would be the size of this guy, and then this guy would be super tiny. So while they don't scale perfectly with each other, I do like how they all look together. But let's get in some other figures from other lines to compare it with this line. And just because I had them at arm's reach, here we have them next to some Marvel Legends, MODOK, Red Skull, and Baron Zemo. And here we have them with the Pixar Spotlight series. Wally, as you can see, he just is super detailed and super articulated compared to the rest. But he still fits in pretty well. I would say he's not completely out of the loop with these guys over here. Here we have him next to the Mafex symbiote Spider-Man and the Marvel Legends First Appearance Spider-Man. Here they are next to the World of Nintendo 4-inch Mario, and I always forget this little guy's name. But yeah, as you can see, they kind of fit in scale with this line. They're more of a 4-inch scale sizing. It's not 100% 4-inch scale, as like I said, some of these figures are a lot smaller than the others. But yeah. And last but not least, here we have them next to some NECA TMNT Toon Ninja Turtles. And there you have it, some pretty solid releases by Mattel. Now these figures aren't amazing by any standards. They're not like the best figures I've ever dealt with, but they're pretty fun and they're pretty great for what they are. For $15, you get 3 figures that are pretty decently articulated, pretty nicely done, sculpted and painted. Now again, for $15, you're not going to get the best quality of figures, but you're going to get some decent ones. Some mishaps like the Timon that I did forget to mention. You get some very, very bad paint apps on this one. As you can see, the belly is painted on the side rather than the center of his actual belly. So misfire right there on the paint job. I'm going to try to see if I can replace this one. But other than that, I mean, these figures are pretty solid, man. Pretty happy to have these in my collection. Again, it's very hard to find a solid Pixar Disney line. The last good one was the Pixar Spotlight series, and those kind of fizzled out. Now, I did review a, what's his name from Inside Out, the pink elephant, the imaginary friend. I can't remember his name off the top of my head, and I cannot remember the name of the line, but that one died out as well. We saw a couple figures from that line, and yeah, fizzled out as well. So hopefully this line continues and we get a whole bunch of other figures to add in my collection. Again, these figures aren't super humongous and they're not super tiny, so they make a nice little display. I mean, even just these 4 sets look pretty dope. I have seen the Aladdin one, like I said previously, but I just didn't grow up with Aladdin, so I have no interest in picking that set up. It does look nice, but it's just not for me. Now, I do want to pick up the Coco set and the which other set was it? The Coco and the Monsters Inc. set. Once I see those, I'll definitely be picking those up and adding them to my display. Hopefully we get some announcements on some other figures in this line that will continue on growing the Disney Pixar shelf. So yeah, man, again, pretty solid figures. If you're a fan of Disney and Pixar, definitely pick this up. This is a no-brainer. Definitely pick these up. If you're kind of just interested in having some characters that you grew up watching in your childhood, this is a nice little figures to pick up. Again, $15, you're getting a nice deal. But yeah, man, enough of me rambling on. Make sure you follow me on my Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. Hit that like and subscribe button, and I'll catch you guys next time. Peace.